A proud member of the significant South Atlantic region and correspondent for the South Atlantic region's Ivy News Network. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the October Think Pink broadcast of For the Record, hosted by our very own South Atlantic Regional Director, Mrs. Carolyn G. Randolph. The lineup for tonight's broadcast is absolutely amazing. I am so excited and I hope that you are too. Let's get right to it. I would like to introduce to you Mrs. Carolyn G. Randolph, the South Atlantic Regional Director. She leads with love, serves significantly, and exemplifies excellence. Madam Regional Director, take it away.
Thank you, Shamir. Welcome to our third broadcast of For the Record. You know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but we must be vigilant every day about the awareness of breast cancer. I am excited to present to you our moderator for today, Dr. Tawanda Davila Davis. Dr. Davis is a native of Miami, Florida. She is an HBCU graduate of Bethune-Cookman University and of Florida State University and Z.E. Brown Bible College. Tawanda is a daughter, a wife, a mother, a friend, and a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She has a story to share with you. She is a fighter, a winner, and a warrior. Please put your hands together and help me welcome our dynamic moderator for this evening, Dr. Tawanda Davila Davis. Dr. Davis.
I don't care if it's raining, stormy, doesn't even matter, because I'm walking into 55 like I am the storm. And so when I say it may be raining on the outside, but on the inside, there's nothing but joy and sunshine. And just to couple with that, you all already know that I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. And if you're like me, I'm just happy to be in the land of the living. So when I say I'm celebrating 55, I really mean I am celebrating life 55, because in June I had a major surgery, and in 2018 I did not know if I was gonna make it to this place right now. So I'm so happy, I'm excited. So yes, I'm gonna go outside in the rain, and every day I'm giving God thanks for another day.
just want to say thank you, Madam Regional Director, for that awesome introduction, and to all of you out there. So today we have some exciting guests with us. We're going to share, as this month, as we celebrate all of our cancer survivors, and we focus in on breast cancer survivors in particular. So today we have, as I said, two phenomenal speakers who are going to present to you today some information that's going to be power packed and going to help you in our short time with you this afternoon, great mid-morning, however you see it. But look at this. So today we have before us Ms. Tiffany Standard, a young individual who served as, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her journey, but she was a caregiver for her mom who was a breast cancer survivor. So we'll hear a little bit from her, and she's going to tell you or drop a seed or a nugget about the importance of knowing your family history. Then we have a young lady, and I say young lady because she is full of energy and excitement, with Karen Elaine, who's going to tell us also about her cancer journey, because she is a breast cancer survivor, thriver. And so today we're going to hear a little bit from her. So we wanted us to just welcome these ladies in our forefront, and I am excited to hear from them. So let me start out with baby girl here. Miss Tiffany, tell us a little bit about the impact that cancer or breast cancer has had on you.
So when I was younger, my mom, she was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was in 11th grade, when I was in middle school, I'm sorry. So I was in middle school, and I noticed my mother, she was going to the doctor more, and I didn't start seeing her much. I was with my grandmother. So I grew up in a single parent household. So it was just me and my mom, my grandma majority of the time. But once I noticed she was gone a lot, she finally decided to tell me that, she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer. And then I used to think that it was my fault that I gave her the breast cancer. But I was young. I didn't know anything about the breast cancer. So I had to step up and start helping her more around the house with things, because she was going through the chemo, she was going through the treatment. So I started to see how it started slowing her down a little bit. So I had to step up and be the caregiver of the house.
Okay, so that's your part of your journey. So let us hear from Ms. Karen. Ms. Karen, tell us a little bit about your cancer journey.
Okay, so when I was 35, I went to my physician and I literally begged him to let me get a mammogram. Now, at that time, I knew my history. I had two aunts on my mother's side who were diagnosed with breast cancer, and also my father's sister also had breast cancer. And for some reason, I'll call it women's intuition or something, but I really felt that I needed to have a mammogram. At that time, he did not consider me high risk because neither my sister nor my mother had breast cancer, but I continued to push the issue. And so starting at the age of 35 is when I started getting mammograms. By the time I was 38, I had already delivered 4 children, and the girls do not look the same after you've nursed them. And I decided I wanted to have a reduction and a lift. And it was thinking back, I needed to have a mammogram right after I had the procedure, and the radiologist asking to see my prior films because they noticed something on the imaging. And so it was through the imaging that my cancer was uncovered.
So you said something very important there. You said you had to be persistent.
Yes.
And so what would you say allowed you to take that position, and the value of just knowing your family history?
And to be honest with you, and I'm being very transparent, because my doctor, and I have letters behind my name, but I didn't have MD or NP behind my name. So I did lean on the knowledge of my doctor, at that time. But there was something there that was inside of me, like, you know what, you need to have this done. And so I just didn't let up. And I was like, and he's like, well, you don't, your mother nor your sister. And that's all that he considered at the time was being considered high risk. But I kept pushing the issue until he allowed me to have it done. And I didn't do it every year because he was like, you don't need it. But every other year I did it. And after I had it was just something inside of me that told me to do it. When I when I was 38, like I said, I had the breast reduction and risk, not knowing, and I learned a lot after I had my procedure, but not knowing that when you have any type of plastic surgery, the physician should make you get a mammogram before that. My doctor didn't. I did it after the fact, but I learned a lot at that time. When I had the procedure done in February of that year, the tissue sample had come back suspicious. The doctor never said anything, but had I not on my own gone and got a mammogram in June of that year, we don't know what had happened. So basically, being persistent that saved my life, because I wasn't of the medical society age of having mammograms, because I was under 40.
And that is amazing too, because sometimes, I love doctors, but they are not infallible. And so we know our bodies. And so I believe it is incumbent upon us to push the issue. And like you said, that was one of the key things, was that knowing your family history.
Yes.
And as a result, from what I'm hearing you say, is as a result, you were able to have that second component of longevity, or being able to survive this cancer, is early detection. Because what stage were you when they found your cancer?
I was stage 1 when they found my cancer, and I did opt to have a double mastectomy because I didn't want, it was only on the one side, and I didn't want to have to worry about reoccurrence. Did my genetic testing afterwards, and even though I was BRCA negative, because I have Caribbean descent, there are pockets in the Caribbean where cancer is, prevalent. So that's where it comes in. But there's a huge disparity. One thing I like, the huge disparity between African Americans and the knowledge and information that's brought forth in our white counterparts. So it's very important to be your own advocate. Speak up, you're not alone, and share the wealth of information that you go with each other for our sisters, because this is something that you can survive. Just get treatment and be your own advocate. Fight for yourselves.
That's awesome. So Tiffany, let me ask you where you are right now concerning your journey, since you have this history as well. How valuable is that knowing that family history for you?
I say it's very important. Every time I go get a physical, I make sure I get a yearly physical, and I also let them know when I'm filling out the form. My mother was a breast cancer survivor, and I just want to make sure that I get the mammograms. I also do my own very self-checks to make sure while I'm still not going to the doctor, I can still able to learn and also teach others to do a self-check for those detections.
Right. And that's amazing. And so, ladies, this thing is one of the things we understand. And I think you, Ms. Karen, pinpointed it. You said our other counterparts. So, let me just break it down. The African Americans, according to studies, we are diagnosed less. We have less diagnosis, but we have more deaths in the African American culture versus our other Caucasians, right? And that's because, like you said, sometimes we kind of bury our head in the sand. Back in the day, it was like one of the things that Tiffany said. She's like, I thought it was something that I did, and sometimes we think it's something we did wrong, and so we kind of bury our heads under the pillow. It's like that elephant in the room. We don't want to talk about it. So now that Tiffany, you know what you know, and Karen, you know that you know. Tell me the value of being a proponent of, as the scriptures say, cry loud and spare not, and lift up your voice like a trumpet. Tell me how much you're talking about bringing that awareness to our community. Karen, let me hear from you.
Okay. Well, I have been a proponent or an advocate for breast cancer, even from my first diagnosis. After I had my double mastectomy with reconstruction, I had a T-shirt that I wear, and it says, "These are fake, my real ones try to kill me." And it brings, I got looks, I got stares, and I said, you know what, if it stirs discussion, then I'm doing the right thing, But I was a proponent. I went to breast cancer awareness groups I was the only person of color for women under 50, and I was in a breast cancer group for, women of African American history. And I would go to the under 50 group, the only person of color, and I would listen, and then I would go back. I was like, I was not aware that we could have had a nurse navigator, which is someone who went to your appointments with you. And because you're in a fog, I mean, let's keep it real, you're not knowing what's going on, but that person could have been my advocate, listening to me to help me remember what I didn't understand. As far as you can get bras for free, but there's so much wealth of information that's not being disseminated to the African American community. So I took that upon myself to say, I'm going to share that information. So I have been a warrior in pink for Susan G. Komen. I have been on the board for the American Cancer Society. I'm a HEAL ambassador for the American Cancer Society. And today I'm not wearing pink, and I purposely didn't wear pink, even though AKA is my heart. But for me, it's not just Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is something that is around year round. So I tell my sisters, have your mammograms, do your self-checks every month, remind on your birthday. And whenever there's an opportunity for me to share my story and say what I go through, I'm raising my hand because I want people to know, because we need to stop. This is not a death sentence. We can survive this, and we just need to start sharing that information. So I always will be welcome to, to do my part and share that information.
Amazing. So, Tiffany, what about you? What are you saying out there in our community about that awareness?
So, being still in college, we host a lot of events spreading to breast cancer. We actually just did one on campus for breast cancer awareness. And every time the topic comes up about breast cancer, it just makes me think back to when I was a young age and when I was watching my mom go through it. So I like to spread the awareness to tell people how very important it is to make sure you are getting those mammograms, making sure you do know how to do your self-check, and also just being involved with the community, making sure I'm participating in the breast cancer walk awareness and things surrounding the breast cancer. The hospital that my mom got treated at, they have a celebration for survivors that were treated at their hospital. So I go back and talk to them, some of the kids there that were my age, and I know what they're going through, and they may not have someone to talk to because they're watching their parent go through this type of situation. And I could understand where they're coming from because I was in their shoes at that age. So just being also a mentor about the voice about breast cancer while being a young child or at any age.
That is amazing. And you're right, ladies, both of you all, just being a proponent out there, telling your story makes all the difference. I too have a cancer foundation and have had it since I started the journey. And just getting out there, telling our African American sisters and brothers, because it's not just something that women experience. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I had a young man on who was diagnosed with breast cancer. So we want to be able to tell them, know your family history, because whether you're male or female, although women are diagnosed more, of course, but we're in this journey, but we can live. And you all, Miss Karen, you are an example of what it looks like being on a thriving end of this thing, on the surviving end of this thing. I tell you, because people need to know that there is life after cancer. This thing didn't stop me. I heard a saying not too long ago, and it was so interesting. They said that, there's a saying that, winning isn't everything. And they said that whoever made that up apparently never had to deal with cancer, because for us, winning is everything. We go in with the mindset that we're going to win. We will not be defeated. Cancer does not stop me. The only thing that cancer did was it gave me a passion to reach out to others. So let me ask that question to you, Miss Karen. How did things change in your mindset when you were diagnosed? Your perspective, your values, what was important, your priorities, did they change?
For me, I would say everything changed. Everything changed completely. I was diagnosed on my 39th birthday. So when I celebrate my birthday, I celebrate another year that I'm still here. But it changed my mindset in the sense that, as well as what we put into our bodies, but it had to start with our minds, because, words have meanings, and, it's what we're putting into ourselves. So having a positive mindset, a positive outlook on life, and making sure what I'm feeding my mind is positive, as well as taking a look at what I'm putting into my body, as well as on my body, since our skin absorbs everything. So taking a closer look at, the chemicals and the lotions, everything that we use to put on our body. So taking a closer look at that, and as well as being physically active. And I don't like to say losing weight, but releasing weight, because it's tied to emotions. So to make sure that I'm healthier and stronger, so I can be here to share my story with others and share my journey with them. So definitely, I would say I'm not the same person that I was, but I'm happy to be who I've become.
Awesome. Well, and we're wrapping this thing up. And so real quickly, starting with you, Ms. Tiffany, really short, tell us something you can leave with our audience. Something impactful that you can share with our audience to encourage them on if they should encounter this journey.
Something impactful I could leave is make sure you're getting your mammograms. Mammograms are very important. And also knowing your family history, knowing where the breast cancer is coming from, knowing how to cope with getting the news of having breast cancer also, and also just making sure you're spreading awareness about breast cancer. Breast cancer is something a lot of people, it's a touchy subject that people doesn't like to talk about, but it's something that does need to be talked about and be spreading awareness of.
Awesomeness. All right, Miss Karen, just take us on out here and tell us something that you can share to leave with our audience.
The biggest thing I'd like to share is that you're not alone. Don't be afraid to reach out. I like to say we're not our sister's keeper, but we are our sisters. Find a friend. Friendship is sharing good and bad information, but you're not alone. Reach out to someone. There's someone there with you who can help you through your journey, and it's something to get through, not stay stuck. So, and of course, be your own advocate. Listen to your woman's intuition and fight for yourself, because sometimes we have to be that voice of reason for ourselves.
Awesome. So I thank you, both of you ladies. Phenomenal. One of the things that cancer does, it brings about fear. It'll drop the strongest man or woman to their knees. But this quote that I want to leave as we segue back to Madam RD. There's a quote that I often use, and it's this: that fear depletes power, but faith gives wings to the soul's elevation. God bless you all, ladies, and thank you for joining us. Back to Madam RD.
But wait, Madam Regional Director, before you go, there's just a few more things I want to make sure that everyone knows when it comes to breast cancer. I'm Dr. Tanya Eccles-Cole. I'm a member of Psi Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in Henry County, Georgia. I'm a radiation oncologist and a 6-year breast cancer survivor. Now, after treating cancer patients for over 20 years, I've developed a special interest in not only strategies for breast cancer prevention, but also strategies to help breast cancer and cancer in general from coming back. Now, we all know and we've all heard that early detection is the best protection. And what that means is that cancers that are caught early have the best chance of being cured. So when it comes to breast cancer, that means that women 40 years and older should get a yearly mammogram. Some guidelines would suggest that you don't need to get a yearly mammogram after the age of 50, but I would disagree because my breast cancer was picked up by mammogram. So I am a firm believer that everyone should get a mammogram done every year after the age of 40. Now, do women under the age of 40 get breast cancer? Absolutely. About 25% of breast cancers every year occur in women under the age of 40. And most often, those breast cancers do not come as a result of a genetic mutation. We're just starting to see breast cancers in younger and younger women. So if you get a lump in your breast and you've not ever had a mammogram because you're not 40, you definitely want to get that checked out. Definitely go to your physician and have them do some imaging and investigate to make sure that this is not a breast cancer. Now, there is a small percentage of women who do get breast cancers as a result of a genetic mutation. And actually, I was one of those women. I had a genetic mutation, but that is a very small subset of breast cancers, really representing less than 10% of breast cancers that are diagnosed every year. The most common one that we hear about, that we talk about, is BRCA1 or BRCA2. When you have that particular genetic mutation, not only does it put you at increased risk for breast cancer, but it also puts you at increased risk for a number of other cancers as well. So if you have a strong family history of cancer, meaning that you have a grandmother, a mother, a sister, another sibling, a male breast cancer, or even a daughter that developed breast cancer at an early age, or you just have a lot of cancers in your family, then this is definitely a time that you need to have a conversation with your physician about getting some type of genetic screening done and or starting your mammograms at an earlier age. Now, the one thing that I want to stress the most for breast cancer prevention and cancer prevention in general is that you do have some control. Diet and lifestyle are the biggest factors that affect the development of cancer in this country. Breast cancer, in particular, is one of 13 different cancers that is linked to being overweight. So getting yourself to a healthy weight by eating a diet that is low in processed food and sugar, getting adequate exercise, meaning 30 minutes 3 times a week, decreasing your stress, getting enough sleep, that is one of the best ways that you can reduce your risk for developing cancer. And if you're a survivor, reducing the chance that your cancer will come back. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you. Now, back to you.
Wow. We have more fighters and more winners, and we are in the ring for a knockout. You have received a wealth of information today. Please do not allow it to fall on deaf ears. Share it with friends, loved ones, family members, co-workers of all ages. I remember it as if it was yesterday, at the age of 30, when my mother transitioned to be with the Lord after her fight against breast cancer. That is why we must make sure that we do self-examinations. We have our mammograms, and we make sure that others do the same. Make sure you have a buddy system to help remind you. I hope and pray that you will use this information for the good. Thank you again for joining us. And back to you, Shamir.
Thank you, Madam Regional Director. And thank you to our moderator, our panelists, and our doctor in the house. And let me give a special shout out to you, all of you who are joining us tonight. Thank you. Tell everyone to join us next month on For the Record. Stay tuned for a commercial and have a good night.
Well, do I have some exciting news for you? Members of the South Atlantic region, you received an e-blast from me earlier announcing our Vendor Appreciation Expo. Yes, that is giving you a platform where you can shop 24/7 for 30 days. I am excited. You can purchase gifts for yourself and your loved ones. Shop until you drop. I am ready. Are you?
Someday, pink will just be a color, not a ribbon to remember, a best friend or a mother. Someday, you won't have to put a wig on, and a baseball cap will just be a hat. Not something to hide under, 'cause your hair is gone. Some days coming in me. You Gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day that feels like you're gonna break, lean on the ones that love you, the guardian angels above you, and think about when pink is just another color. Someday your time will be your own time. No waiting rooms or doctor's news that make you wanna cry. And